the caption reads. We're going to talk a little bit of 50 years of hip hop. Normally we do the elements. Today was a little different. We're going to get right into it. What's up with you, brother? You good?
Cool, man. Just waiting. It's always weird when this is the only show I have because of the it's at 10 o'clock. So I was kind of ready to rock.
I know Wednesdays, right? There's a reason why we call it the after party, right? Because you're coming off either one or several shows, and you're on some hype stuff. I'm kind of half asleep because I took some allergy medicine. I was already knocking out. My wife was like, "Don't you have your life today?" I was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah. Ran upstairs, but yeah, man. Obviously, just the same way the caption reads. We're gonna talk 50 years of hip hop, a few other things, just kind of all over the place. And yeah, if you guys have questions, use that little question thing, little question button or whatever, and we'll keep it pushing.
So what's going on with this? I mean, I've heard like someone hit me up and was like, "Yo, you seen this 50 years of hip hop thing?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, you'll see it." And I don't know, like, so it's just.
Are you talking about the Grammys?
Well, and then there's the Grammys, and then there's. Is that what we're referring to?
Yeah. I mean, well, okay. So there's. So first and foremost, obviously, for those that don't know or those that do know, this year we're quote unquote celebrating the 50-year anniversary or birthday of hip hop. We've talked about this before, right? I mean,
yeah.
We know, yes, we have to put a stamp on hip hop, and fortunately, we know 1973, August 11, 1973. Some say November because of Zulu Nation, but 1973 is kind of a given, right? Kool Herc gives a party, introduces the quote unquote merry-go-round, which gave birth to the breakbeat, to the beat juggle, whatever it is, and then hip hop's created.
Right.
So that's what everybody's pushing this year, which is great.
Yeah.
Do it. What I was, and I've noticed people are doing their own little celebrations, posting, blah blah blah. But what I saw, and I had to watch the replay or the rerun. So the Grammys did a tribute, which
Yeah,
from my
I didn't see.
understanding, it was given by Questlove. Right? Questlove kind of got everybody involved. Just to confirm, you haven't seen it, right?
Yeah, so the full disclaimer, I haven't seen it. I looked it up. I saw some clips of performances online. I don't fuck with it. And I pulled up a list of who performed, or who was there and stuff. So I definitely have some notes, but full disclaimer, I didn't watch it. But I'm gonna start out with this. I guess maybe we can end on a high note. I'm gonna start with this. The Grammys have never given a fuck about hip hop culture ever. The hip hop has always gotten the shaft when it comes to the Grammys, and so it's like, okay, so now when in 2023 when we're all inclusive of everything and everything's, where were you in the beginning? You were on hip hop in the beginning. The Grammys was not fucking with hip hop at all, and so like for it to be like this it's whack to me, that part. So now you want to, now let's have this. Where were you the other 49 years? Nowhere. Fuck out of here. Grammys never given a fuck about it. So the whole thing is disingenuous to me. It's from the Grammys, okay? I'm not,
right, of course.
Not, I can't talk about the artists and stuff. From the Grammy side, the whole shit is some fugazi publicity, inclusive, weirdo bullshit that never. Where were you 49 years? So that's my start off with this shit. The Grammys never gave a fuck.
I mean, to start off, I believe it was 89 when there was a boycott. Someone just mentioned it. I didn't see who it was, but there was a boycott. Like, nah. And I get it, right? When I heard, okay, so-and-so, they're going to get a tribute. Anytime hip hop is involved, it obviously catches my eye, right? There's no way I'm just going to be like, just, put it off to the side. Again, it wasn't important enough to me to watch it live time or right when it played. But I saw the replay, and again, if we're gonna go back and forth, whether high note, low note, again, I'm with you on a low note. It wasn't anything that I was excited to see. I saw it, and it was all right. Someone said it was whatever performance, and to me it was just kind of weird. It was and no disrespect to Questlove, to LL Cool J, and anybody that had anything to do with it, but it was underwhelming, right? So again, and I know you're going to see it, and anytime you want me to stop and not give the information out, you can just let me know. But they started off with the.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm letting you know that now. I'm not watching it. I couldn't give a shit. No, not even this. I saw enough.
You don't give a shit about it, okay?
I saw enough to. Nah. It's not on my radar. We're talking about it because it's something to talk about. I give a fuck, and I don't care. Straight up.
So they had So I'll tell you who they had.
Me neither, Watkins. I ain't know it was on either.
In no order. So they had Rakim, Scarface.
I'm looking at
yeah. So these people came out, right? LL Cool J at the beginning did mention Kool Herc. Flash was there. Run DMC. Queen Latifah was up in that piece. Big Boy from Outkast. There was a few heads in there.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the listed performers, it's kind of weird to me that there were a lot of groups that were half represented. Why was just I heard Paz did Buddy by himself. Of course, his why wasn't I feel like there was definitely some people within hip hop that were like, fuck this shit because even within groups, Big Boy was there, 3 Stacks. You know what I'm saying? I think, right? I was just looking at the lineup. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me know. But based on the lineup, it's that So then you had Meth. Why would first of all, why would you not have the entire fucking Wu-Tang Clan there? That is beyond ridiculous. If you cannot talk 50 years of hip hop music without having the entire Wu-Tang Clan, not just fucking Method.
So that's a great point. And
I'm saying just present, acknowledge, present.
So here's my understanding, and I'm not justifying shit. I'm just bringing it up because I also questioned that, right? When Paz came out. Now I will say this: the amount of time given per artist per track, if anything, was like 30 seconds, no more than a minute. And I get it because you had so many people on stage. I get it. So the first thing I noticed, all right, Paz came out, no Maceo, no Dave. All right, I get it. Scarface comes out and does My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me, and it's just him. I just saw a video of Willie D kind of airing out the Grammys and be like, what? Yeah, oh yeah.
There you go.
So
you can see. There's some.
I put myself in that situation. Like, I get, because I try to see it both points, right? I'm an artist. If I'm going to show up, one being there, that's one. 2, given a spotlight to perform. All right. And I guess it's going to sound like I'm trying to justify it. So let's say all of Wu-Tang is invited, but there's 30 seconds that you're going to perform. Obviously, not everybody's going to get to say anything, but the representation. The Grammys are not a last-minute event. This isn't an impromptu performance show. This isn't a spontaneous situation. I'm sure they're already planning next year and how they're going to do it. So we can't say, oh, we forgot, or yeah, this is all up higher up. So again, with all that bullshit aside, because we we can go off of why Dave and Maceo, why Willie D, someone mentioned JJ Fad, why they weren't there. Here's where I'm coming in, and here's the purist and the culture in me. If we're gonna celebrate 50 years of hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
at the very least, I mean, I would still complain, but at the very least, why don't we have Cool Herc up in there? Why don't we have Jazzy J up in there? Again, Flash was there. My understanding, Flash was there. Um, why don't we have B-Boys up in that piece? Why don't we have it the same way uh, Scarface, Big Boy, Rakim had 30 seconds to spit their piece? Why don't we have a DJ doing their? I mean, that's the foundation. I mean, I get graffiti, I get it. I would understand.
Well,
But the b-boys, the DJs, the beatboxers, Dougie Fresh, like somebody.
well, here's what I want to say to that, and I thought that too, but it's the Grammys and it's just about music,
Of course.
so I can see why. But leads to my next point. The problem with that, though, is that it reinforces to the general public that hip hop is only rap, and so that's a problem. But I can see why it's music. But yeah, you should have had like fucking, you know, heavy hitters from back in the day. I don't know how it was created or whatever. I mean, I'm sure we can see there's a lot of dissension in the ranks amongst crews, though, that didn't, you know. I mean, my take is, if I'm an artist, I'm like, oh, nice, or now, like when you shit on us for all those kids, and we were like, just, you thought we were going away? Fuck y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, back to the list of performers, though, it's weird. It was a weird lineup to see just Met. And again, like you said, I'm not saying they all had a, he's not going to have 9 cats be able to spit nothing, but they should have been there. They all should have been. There actually should have been a fucking, I don't know if they did any, like, I won't say lifetime award type shit acknowledgments, but if they made any special acknowledgments to people, Wu-Tang should have gotten one.
So they did a lifetime. They started a new award, and they gave it to Dr. Dre, and they named it the Dr. Dre some kind of achievement award. And he was there. He accepted it. It was the first time that they did it. Which again, we've talked about Dre, and we have our own thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But the same thing, right? Again, why now? Now we're good. Now we're getting it. I don't want to get. I don't want to talk about this the whole hour because Grammys, again, like you said, they've never been about anything for the culture. They don't care. But even though it's dope, and I don't want to sound like that old head, even though it's dope to see Rakim on a big stage and you know the Melly Mel and all that, it's dope, but shortchanged. You know. And,
Yeah, though. Yeah, and to wrap that point up, I mean, I'll just add that, like, you know, because I wanted to end. Is that it's always good to see legends doing their thing. I mean, that's dope, and I think big up LL. He's on the page. Big up to those who were performing and took part in it. I mean, as far as I think, I think it's good to see that, but for me, I'm a fan, and I'm a participant as well. And the Grammys always said fuck us, right? They always said fuck us. So what the fuck you want now? You know what I'm saying? It's like a chick that didn't want you. It's like they caught the vapors. Right? Grammys caught the vapors. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't fucking with you. Like, nigga, please, you work for UPS, not but so
yeah,
that's what it's like.
It's underwhelming. Again, it's dope to see, but it's still underwhelming. If we're gonna celebrate hip hop, then let's celebrate it correctly. I'm kind of 60-40, 60%. I'm just like whatever. 40. Again, it's nice to see. Here's what I did like. A lot of people are running with it. And no disrespect to anybody, but the background they were showing list of names that I never would have thought I would have seen in a Grammy stage. Right? They put names of, I saw Cannibal Ox, Aesop Rock, Tech Nine. I mean, there's names back there that like Illogic. I never thought Grammys and these names would go hand in hand in a sense of mainstream. I'm not saying that they don't deserve it, but these were all underground, most underground names that I would figure like never put those two together. So that's that. That's the Grammy side of it.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
What I really want to get into is the actual breakdown of the quote unquote birth of hip hop, right? We're quote unquote celebrating 50 years of hip hop.
Yep.
1973. It's 2023, which is dope. Yep. Do you feel, because you hear it, right? You hear it and it's like, all right, cool, whatever. Kaz said it, Flash said it, LL said it. And, you kind of hear things, just kind of in the background, all right, 50, 50, 50. And then the other day I was just like sitting there, I'm like, God damn, 50 years. And we'll get into the whole hip hop, quote unquote, is older than 50 years. We'll get into that. But does that shake you in any way, the fact that we're celebrating 50 plus years of hip hop culture?
Yes and no. Yes, when I look at my age and I look at my participation in it, and each year goes by, and it's been like damn, like 82, I found this shit. You know what I mean? And it's been a wrap since then. And so, so it puts it in perspective, like just my life, but 50 years isn't really a long time. And I think
it's not. Yes.
We need to understand that in the grand course of history and life and whatever you believe in, whether you believe life is cyclical or linear, it's 50 years. It's a fucking little pee-pee drop, not a lot. And so hip hop is still in its infancy. There's things out there that are like thousands of years old. Just to put in respect. So then when I look at it like that, I'm like, and I don't get caught up. And because we'll talk about it, but because we know that it was more than likely going on, that it was going on before that date, I'm not that like rah-rah, but I think it's cool. I mean, I don't know anybody that really gets all pumped up about it. It was dope. I mean, celebrate it and up and showcase dope shit and pump the elements, you know what I mean? Use this as an opportunity. But for me, it's cool, but I don't really get caught up in it. But when I look at my life, I'm like, damn, I've been a part of this for a long time, seen it grow from this to this. But then I look at the big picture and I'm like, 50 years is a
if you're opening up a history textbook of hip hop, that's not a long time. If you're watching a movie of hip hop, then you're watching a pretty long documentary, right? If you look at it that way.
Yeah, real quick, I'm gonna cut you off. Like, it's like this: if the founders of XYZ culture are still alive, then it's not very old. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a movement and its founders are all still there, or some of them still there, it's not that old.
You had mentioned that before. You're right, because and that's why I think when, at least the last couple of years, when our elders or the people that we grew up listening to are passing away, hits home a lot more than normal, because it's like, okay, I know it's not that old because the founders are still alive, but now we're starting to see them dwindle down and hit that. That's why it hits home a lot more. A lot of people always have to like, dude, because I'm going to change the subject briefly here. I'm not a big fan of fanning out, right? When we've talked about it before, when like if I post something or you post something and somebody rides super hard for them, like that other time we were on live and they're like, oh, you better, not disrespect Busta Rhymes or whoever it was. Yeah, it's like, don't dick ride that hard, right? But it's kind of similar to that. Now, yes, you're right. If you look at it that way, it's not that old. You know, it's a baby. Um, but what I what I'm having trouble with, and not, I mean not necessarily trouble, but I'm working through is okay. I also don't want to be the one where I completely disregard celebrating the culture. I mean, we live this every day, but I also am taking the opportunity of like, all right, everybody's celebrating 50 years. I'm gonna push the elements even harder, especially this year, to make sure that in the midst of people celebrating 50 years of hip hop with just a genre of music or instrumentals or whatever, we know we're pushing out the DJs that set the foundation, the graph writers that set the foundation, that were doing this before 50 years, before 73. Um, that's where that's where I disconnect. That's where I have an issue with it. And people will look at it like, well, who are you? You're nobody, right? If Bam says it, if Herc says it, if Red Alert says it, we're gonna go off of that. I really would want to emphasize the years prior to August 11th, 1973, um, because they probably were the most important as this was bubbling up before setting the stamp on August 11th, 1973.
Yeah, I like what you said about pushing harder. Like that's a good. I wrote that down. I mean, like, yeah, fuck it. We always do. Gary Nicole, go, but like, right, we've been like let's step it. We'll step it up too. Then fuck it, and like let's go harder and push the elements and kick, you know, you want to celebrate hip hop this year heavy. All right, we'll show you how it's done. I mean, I not to sound, you know, I mean, we'll fucking get busy there. And, you know, as far as what you said, for you, man, you know, you could actually do that as a thing this year. Look at, you could celebrate hip hop the 50 years by showcase your history with this shit, showcasing the early shit before that. Dig it up and share it with us. You know what I'm saying? And make that, and like, that can be your contribution right there as far as like, you know, because that's important. That's what led to 1973. And I'm trying not to really have a problem with the year anymore. I mean, I'm like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? I guess we gotta, gonna say it started somewhere. That's widely what it's considered to be. All right, we know what it is, what it is. So, yeah, share that. You know what I'm saying? That would be dope to know. Did you know that in like 71, blah, 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 blah was going on? Like, you know, 69, 70, you know, did you know Black Spades and Savage Nomads and Black Skulls, Savage Skulls were like, you know, rocking and so it's a lot of it's documented now, so that'd be a good thing to share.
Have you watched, now that we're talking about this, have you watched the documentary? I think it's called, I can't remember if it's called Rubble Kings.
I've seen parts of it. I think I was too fucked up to watch the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't finish watching it. It just you actually just reminded me of it. I need to rewatch that. It would be pretty dope. And maybe, I mean, this would have taken me working way before 2023 to do this, but would you be opposed to seeing something like, and I have my own issues with this kind of stuff, but how they'll do like Hispanic Heritage, Black History Month. I think it's pretty shitty, right? It's like, why don't we just celebrate all this year round? And I don't do, you give me a month, you give me a week of celebrating my heritage or whatever. Celebrate it or don't celebrate it, but don't give us, you know, a month or a week or a day to celebrate certain things, right? But would you be opposed to seeing somehow, some way, you know, a certain channel or a certain network that shows all hip hop films documentaries. Let's say that the footage of Rocksteady, the Rocksteady battle in 1981, Lincoln Center, if they would, show that in the month of August, let's just say, right? Let's just say this year there's still time. Let's say Netflix will do a whole month worth of hip hop documentaries and all that. Would you like to see that, being that it's quote unquote mainstream that's pushing the information?
Depends on how it's done. I mean, BET was mainstream. When we came up, this shit was mainstream. Arsenio Hall was mainstream. Um, Living Color was mainstream. Rap City, OMT, that was all mainstream. So if it's done right with the right people running it, that'd be dope. I'd be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But we know how it gets when shit's mainstream after it becomes popular.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as if the right people are running shit, that's you want it to be made, because that, especially if it's something positive and dope, you know what I'm saying? But the right people are never running the show. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the people running hip hop don't give a fuck about, or the people promoting hip hop and pushing it don't give a fuck about the culture.
Yeah, it's surface. It's all surface love for the culture, right? It's not like, yeah, they'll talk Eminem and maybe they'll maybe even bring up Zulu, but not really know, how they were involved. So Boombox Chuck brought up the PBS special by Chuck D. It's called "Fight the Power: The Way Hip Hop Changed the World." Um, I haven't watched it. I don't know if anyone's watched it, but it's supposed to be pretty good. But that's what I'm talking about. So stuff like that. I'm not saying Netflix will do a new documentary. What I'm saying is, like, they'll take the month of August. I'm just scenario, hypothetically, month of August. They'll play Wild Style for a week, and then Style Wars, Freshest Kids.
I mean, you're saying that. I mean, when I look on Netflix now, I see like black influence or some shit. That shit is corny to me, man.
That's exactly why I brought it up earlier. That's exactly what I was saying.
That shit is corny to me. No, I don't want to see that.
Okay, all right.
Not really. I mean, fuck that shit. It's patronizing, man. It's not like it's condescending. It's like
throwing you a bone type of deal. Like, all right, here you go.
It's the Grammy shit. Don't fucking like play me for a sucker, man, and think I'm just gonna jump because you want to give me a month. Black History Month is a joke. Spanish Heritage Month is a joke. That shit is all a fucking joke, man. Shit is goofy. So no, I'm not.
That's okay. So we're on the right track.
I don't want to see that. No. I don't want to see no like hip hop month. I mean, I'll say this. I shouldn't say I don't want to see it. I'm only skeptical because I know it's not going to be. It's like they're not going to show Wild Style. Like they ain't going to go. They're not going to get past breaking. Like they're not going to show real shit. If they showed real documentaries, they showed fucking like even the Coke shit. Whatever you think about Kings Destroyed.
Oh yeah.
They show shit like that, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Real shit, but who's running the shit? Who's behind it? They got me and you behind that shit? Picking shit? Curating that shit? No. They got some fucking 30-year-old art school fuck or whatever. Read some shit about hip hop and now they're doing that. Fuck out of here. So it's never done. So that's all I'll say. If anything can be done right, the right people are behind it. So if Netflix called us and was, yo, we want you guys to do a fucking curate a month of hip hop, we both would jump at the chance to do that, right? We'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it. We turn that shit out. But they're not calling us. They're calling fucking Ethan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I have a feeling, and again, at this point, I'm just talking shit, but I have a feeling if they were to do that, you'd probably get reruns of like Yo MTV Raps, which is dope within itself. You know, there's a lot of stuff that came out of that, right? Ed Lover and all them, Dr. Dre, but again, that's not. I mean, if we're gonna do a hip hop history month and actually talk about the history, we got to start at the beginning, and the beginning is not it's not all flowers and nice paint job that a big corporation can provide you, because that's not what it is. Right? It was poverty. It was the need for change. It was gangs. They're not going to show that.
So, no, they're not going to show it in the way that they never will. They never will. They're not going to show the real shit. You know?
All right, so yeah, let's get to the dope side of 50 years of hip hop. Let's talk about. So I mean, again, same way with these holidays and shit like that. I hate it when, you know, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. It's like, why is it this one day out of the year we all have to be all nice and lovely, send flowers and that? Nah, dude. If you don't feel it year round, then what the fuck? And I fall into that category because, of course, I'm gonna get wifey flowers. Of course, take my mom out, because that's just what it is. I can't change other people's perspective of holidays and shit like that. But to me, it's stupid. Like you say, shit is corny. But again, even though you'll see me, and you have, and probably already see me celebrate the 50 years of hip hop. Again, I'm taking that as a foundation of, all right, if you guys are going to celebrate this and you're going to be paying attention a lot more than normal, and with these hashtags and happy 50th birthday hip hop, because I seen that shit just go all the way up. I'm like, all right, so if you're going to be looking for that content, I'm going to tag the real shit, and hopefully you come across the page. Now, we got to celebrate this year round, right? So preserve and celebrate the first 50 plus years, but let's not forget, while celebrating, and while some of us are probably learning more of the culture and its foundation and its founders and pioneers, let's not forget to plan and embrace and unify with others for the next 50 years. Because hip hop's, again, rap or whatever, it's going up this way, right? Not in terms of like, oh yeah, we're getting better, but it's going up. We got to pull it back down to get those morals back, to get those elements back. So in the midst of yay hip hop, we kind of have to figure out who we need to talk to get stronger in the next 50 years.
Those are good points, man, and that you mentioned. And so it's like, I'm thinking as you're talking, I'm like, okay, like that's a great way that I view, like, as far as like, yeah, looking forward. It's about looking forward, right? Yeah, celebrate, but what are we doing about looking forward? I think we should have panels between like older heads and younger heads, and like the trap cats and shit and whatever. Like some of them, or some of the, like, I think we should have some discussions and be like, yo, what's good, man? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, because hip hop is, if we're looking at the music, I mean, the culture is split. The elements all are in their own individual lanes, right? And so, rap's the main thing people care about and all that. But at the same time, we're not going to be here forever. We got to push this shit forward. I mean, the young kids have to get it together. They got to get it together. Everybody got to get it together. Hip hop got to get it together. We got some things to improve on. So, yeah, I think that's a good point too, man. Like, let's talk about like what can we do going forward. You know what I mean? Like, really pushing harder. Like, talk about like what. Yeah, how can we unify? So, but the pessimist in me is not. I'm
and it sucks to look at it that way, right? I mean,
yeah. Do you see it like here's the thing. We can only do what we can do, right? So we do our shows, people come, people leave when we talk about graffiti or whatever. Like we can only do at the end of the day, I'm happy with my contribution to this shit as far as like this, like, okay, I did what I could. You know what I mean? To share and stuff like that. Hip hop, the game is crazy now. The shit is weird, man. We're fighting an uphill battle. The whole shit's turvy. Fuck shit is accepted as real shit. Real shit's accepted as fuck shit. It's a weird game. OGs co-signing lame ass weirdo shit to stay relevant. It's all fucked up, yo. So, I'm not very optimistic.
and it sucks. It sucks, and that's where we're kind of split, right? Because then we're seen as like just grumpy old hip hop heads. But you're right. I mean, sometimes and you and I have talked behind the scenes where it's like I almost feel like, man, I should have just stayed just a fan and just played the background because I'll be honest. I mean, I'm gonna be 100% transparent. There are times when I'm like, I can talk this shit all day, but sometimes it'd be like, yo, how is it that nobody knows said graffiti writer? How come nobody can appreciate this beat juggle, just the way that transition? And we'll take it to more of an acceptance platform in terms of audio or music. How come nobody's heard said artist? So I'm here taking my time, right? And I used to take this Save the Hip Hop Culture show used to consume my time like a motherfucker. We used to do, you already know, for those that don't, every day we used to do anniversary posts on this day, this and that. You got to understand, there was four or five of us pages kind of going back and forth, going through Billboard charts, confirming, down to the point where like someone had receipts of when they, had purchased these albums, and it's like, oh, okay, you couldn't have come out this day because you purchased it this day. Like calculating to make sure that we're providing the right information. Now that's contribution, right? Now, me posting these things, it got to the point where I'm like, nobody gives a shit. Like nobody's nobody's really giving a fuck about a windmill. No, I mean, for the most part, right? Nobody's giving a shit about me talking about how technology in terms of turntablism or DJs is either killing the game or killed certain routines or whatever. Nobody cares. Nobody cares of an underground head if the name doesn't resonate with you, if let's just say I've said this before, Tribe Called Quest, if those colors don't come up on your feed, people are just scrolling. They don't give a shit. They'll stop when they see something that they remember. New shit, they'll just scroll. I love it, and it's only, let's say it's just one person that says, "Yo, thank you for putting me on." That's a Grammy to me. Like, what? All right, cool. I'm glad, even though if you don't like it as much as I do, I'm glad when someone is able to listen or be exposed to a new artist or a b-boy or a graffiti writer that they weren't before, because that's what we do, right? Shed light. But people don't give a shit. So I've gotten to the point where I'm like, fuck it, I'm not even gonna like. Why am I gonna post? Nobody cares. But then we're doing a disservice to our name, right? Carrying the culture, save the hip hop culture. That's why we keep going and do these lives and get these guests and all that bullshit. But that's the battle that I'm dealing with in terms of hip hop and just trying to push that shit out there.
Well, Janine said it perfectly, and big up to her for saying it. She said, "Who cares about them? We care."
Sorry.
And
That's
so
beautiful.
that's the bottom line, man. Like the underground
Janine.
is dope because it's the underground. Like all the dope shit is underground. In any movement, any culture, the dope shit, the resistance is always underground. The Underground Railroad was literally so everything's underground. Like the underground is always, and so it's like we're the community's small, but like we stick to our guns, man, and we fuck with what we fuck with, and we fuck with it based on the values that we were taught. And so, if I always say people want to change the shit, that's on y'all, man. Like if you want to change, accept you want to accept ghostwriting, if you want to accept biting and fucking using people's names and using the same shit and fucking not writing your own shit, then that's cool. But we don't do that here. So I think it's, you know, I've come to it like, yo, the people that appreciate it really appreciate it because they're just like us, and so um, the ones that don't, that's all right. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, in the end, it's like this is for the people that do care because people do care, people do fuck with it, people do want to, you know. So it's like we said, the music went when it left and shit started getting funny. 90s Puffy and all that shit. No, and then right when shit started going that way and became, and that was commercial shit. The same people that were on like Kane and the Mob Deep, whatever, they just went that way. The real heads said, "Oh no, we ain't fucking. We gonna fuck. We still on our fucking shit. We didn't change. Other shit changed. So now we're in the minority. Everybody changed around us. The whole gang around us, and me and you are sitting here like, the fuck happened? What?
All left in the dust.
What, I'm like Chester Cheetah, like what the fuck? That's we got left in. We got. Everybody changed around us. We're the ones that are, what do we call it? Old heads, dinosaurs, still stuck in the 90s. Yo, this ain't the 90s. This ain't the 80s. What you want? Where? They go. So everyone changed. We didn't change. So fuck them.
Yeah, and I mean that proves my point, right? Because there's the up and down. I kind of like, why should I be doing this? Nobody cares. But then it's like, there's I'm just not gonna stop loving hip hop. That's not something I do, right? So a comparison. Not I say this all the time, but not to get too into detail. So I did a little, you know, my history, and we've talked. You and I have talked off record of how me getting into the whole Aztec Mayan spiritual, you know, whatever, and I got into it. And there was this dude I used to talk to, and I do mean used to because he just fell off the face of the earth. But you know, he was always like, "Yo, the indigenous, blah blah." And it was a little too hardcore towards the end, but I got a lot of information from him. But his thing was, "Yo, why you rocking a LA Dodger hat?" Like, bro, I'm a Dodger fan, so like, I've been rocking with the Dodgers forever. Oh, but didn't you know that the Dodgers displaced Mexican people in LA to build their stadium? Like, I know all that, right? I've done my homework. I did my quote unquote spiritual journey, all that, right? Shout out to Emmett. What's up, brother? Um, on the same path. So my comparison here is like, I'm not gonna stop loving the Dodgers. I remember watching baseball within itself. I mean, my dad used to, my dad, my uncle, my cousin. I mean, that's our connection. Till this day, I can stay up super late talking to my cousin about baseball, Dodgers. But just because of what I'm getting into, doesn't mean I'm just gonna be like, ah, fuck it. Same here. Just because someone doesn't give me the quote unquote likes or doesn't like what I like or they think I'm an old head, doesn't mean I'm just gonna like, fuck it, I'm gonna stop. It gets to that point. Did I freeze up?
Yeah, but you're good now.
I noticed that. All right. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop, right? So there are those, you know, there are good days, bad days, but it's hip hop all day. Janine said, like you said, she said it best. That's beautiful. It doesn't matter what people think. It's gonna be hip hop all day.
Here's the other thing, man. I'll put this weight on your shoulders. Like, for whatever reason, you and I decided to use, we use platforms that are available to everybody, in various platforms, to share our knowledge and love of this culture, right? Right. So we said we were going to do that, and a lot of people have gotten things out of it, and it's, you know, gotten some positive feedback. both of our platforms, it's like, thank you for what you're doing. It was always explained to me that, like, if you have knowledge and things that people want to hear and good things, and this is, I mean, it can be, this is typically talking about spiritual stuff, but even like let's just look at it within this culture. If you have knowledge and information that can help people and benefit people and that people like and good, there's an obligation to share that with them. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't, you're doing a disservice to humanity. If you don't share that, information, people are gonna do what they want with it, but I feel like I didn't want to do this shit at first, man. You know what I'm saying? This was a joke, and then I got it, and then. But people have hit me up like, yo, you helped me through like cancer and shit, like with your posts about this and that, and that. So, I look at it like that, man. We decided to use our platforms in this way, and a lot of people get some stuff, get things out of it, and if you don't share it, who's going to share it? If you don't talk about that underground artist that so and so none of us heard of, and now I'm like, oh shit, they're dope, da 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 da. Who's going to do that? Nobody's really doing that shit, man. You know what I mean? Like nobody. So that's what I'll say there. Like,
and that's the problem, right? The passing of the torch. I think that's what happened to the elements. Rap music kept on keeping on because it was making money for big corporations and A&Rs and like shit. But that torch is not being passed down. That's why I started this page. That's why I started this movement. So you're right. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you bringing that up because you're right. If you have, and that's always something that was taught to me. If and I'm glad you brought that up too. Is if you gain knowledge of anything, it is your job. It is your not job. It is your responsibility to hand that down to a quote unquote younger you. Funny thing is, I have a symbol tatted on me that represents the tongue, right? The spoken word, if you want to. The tongue is and I have a responsibility, whether it was me pursuing my writing and my emceeing, which I didn't, or doing these lives or writing for a magazine, but my words and my knowledge is what I have to give. So we're going to do it.
Right. And that's all. You do what you do because it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? I guess. So the results aren't really up to us. You know what I mean?
Word up. So again, I know it wasn't a detailed 50 years of hip hop, but we got into it, and that's what we feel. Right? We got to preserve it. The elements. We say that all the time.
Push hard.
Say it all the time. I think you represent the elements lovely. I wish I had the energy and time to do it the way you do. But the good thing is you do it, and we just got to embrace it, man. I mean, I understand we're not going to get back to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and sometimes I don't feel like we want to go back, but we at least want to get the morals back, and have a respect. These youngsters don't have the respect for the foundation, and we got to get back to that. So
some of the old people don't have respect for the foundation.
Even exactly.
So let's keep it on it. So yeah, fucking yeah, yo, fucking. This is a good time to wrap up. Can I share what I got going on?
Yeah. Handle it.
So salute everybody. Our Inspector Deck interview is up on our YouTube channel, the Carrying the Culture YouTube channel. Tomorrow night we got Brother Jay. Excellent. So we're going to be talking leadership in hip hop. All right. Thank you for help with that suggestion for that topic. So we're gonna look at it like this. We're gonna look at it like early. What was there ever really leadership in hip hop? Like, what was it like? I'm asking from his perspective. What was it like? Does he agree that there was leadership? What happened to it? How did they fail us, bringing us up to now? And like, do we have any leadership now? What's it like now? And then a blueprint for what it could and should look like. Big up, Chucky. What it could and should look like. So that's the idea we're discussing tomorrow. Leadership, hip hop. We got Oxnard, California. MC Mike Bless next week. Dude's
Oh
a
yeah.
spit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he can spit. We back with A plus for another episode of not consolidation. Talking crazy. That's our monthly show on mental health. As we were doing the show, we just booked Haas G, Phantom of the Beat from UMC's. Became really produced for a lot of people. Produced Beyonce speaking. We're talking about the
Oh
Grammys.
shit. All right.
So got that, and then we're gonna have Rob Swift back on. Executioners talking DJ shit this time because we didn't talk that at all last time. So
Right. Yeah. Last time we talked about well, yeah. If you guys want to see that, YouTube.
Yeah.
I will. I mean, I recommend all the interviews you've done. Obviously, the Brother J ones are the Constant Elevation ones are dope because you're getting gems. The Talking Crazy is really Talking Crazy to me is like you're just sitting around with your boys, just really just venting,
Yeah.
just having and it's not as men. We don't normally. I can't remember the last time I did that with one of my male friends,
Right,
but
right.
it does happen, and that's such a detox that it's a dope feeling when you and A plus get on, because that's the feeling I get. Just detox, you feel good right after. So if you guys haven't gone on or Talking Crazy with A plus, Constant Elevation with Brother J, any CTC show really is dope. But the I'm gonna go this route. That deck interview, bro. I couldn't keep up with the gems that were being dropped. Like the whole windmill thing. He battled Ghost. I told you I love hearing that because it puts it into perspective. Yeah, your favorite artists were also dabbling. I mean, it's just something they did. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna pick up a spray can. It's just what was going around you, and you.
That's what he said first. He said the MCing came later. Big up the Spectre. Like, yeah, he was dropping jewels, and it was. I mean, shit, we had never heard before. I mean, we didn't hear that. He said that when well, I'll get that posted tomorrow. So you gotta check it out. Check it out. Got a couple clips posted. We're posting like a clip every couple of days.
Yeah.
He drops so much shit. He talks about I did post this one. The Protect Your Neck beat was the single
for his album.
Crazy.
You know that was me. Like, I'm not fucking trying to find it on YouTube. Like, yo, yeah, I couldn't keep up. I mean, that shit to me, honestly, I felt. You know me. I need shit right away. Like, I don't do good with preparing. I need it right away. So as he's saying this, I'm like, my computer, let me look it up. Like I need to get this. So whenever we're on these lives and you tell me about this, that, and the third, I can't wait to get off to either look it up. Remember that Cypress Hill ghostwriting shit? Like, I think I was looking for the record while we were on, like just trying to look it up. So it's dope. Yeah, again, guys, YouTube, carrying the culture, Constant Elevation. I mean, you're doing Talking Crazy. You're doing the most, and I appreciate what you contribute to the culture, since we're celebrating the whole culture and all that good stuff.
No, and I appreciate you as well. So that's a good lead into what we're doing. We got. When is our guest coming up?
This Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday. So we got
not tomorrow. So we have Invisible Scratch Pickles, Beat Junkie, DJ D Styles, originally of Third Sight, amongst a bunch of other stuff that we will get to. But D Styles is gonna join us live next Wednesday. Talk about everything really, DJing. We're gonna get into what he dabbled into before the DJing. A bunch of good stuff. So log on. I'll get a promo post out. But D Styles going on Wednesday next week.
Yeah, that's that's part of our new formats. For those who don't know, so we're doing the first couple of weeks of each month, our standard 2 topics of 2 elements, and then the last 2 weeks, depending on if there's 4 or 5 weeks, the last 2 weeks are basically we'll have an interview the second to the last week of the month. So first one is going to be D Styles. We're going to build with him together. And then the following week, we got our new segment, Under the Radar, right? So, where we play some shit that we think people haven't really heard. should have heard. You should need to hear it. Doesn't
and react to it. So that should be fun. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna trade joints back and forth. He'll share 5. I'll share 5. We'll go back and forth, and get each other's reaction and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I may not like it. You may not like, So, but the act is, we're gonna share what we think.
The main reason for, I mean, one of the main reasons for all this, let's put it under the radar, really is just to make connections, right? Whether it's, I've made friends, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, because I keep my circle real close, real tight. But I've made really dope connections just simply based off of, yo, have you heard this? And it's like, yo, holy shit. And it just opens up a whole other world for me. And then, someone's like, yo, I'm going to be in Cali. I met a few people from Philadelphia, people from Chicago, come out here. And then it's like, yo, we go digging, really based off of just a direct message saying, have you heard this? Right? So it's dope. Making connections, not only with another person, but making connections musically or graffiti, whatever it is. So in this case, under the radar is to connect you, the listener, or each one of us to music that we may have never heard of. And, again, at the end of the day, it's not one of those things that you don't like it, your hip hop card is revoked. No, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's just, let's have a human interaction and reaction to this music and see where it takes us.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I have a feeling it might be more than once a month somehow.
Hey, it is what it is. And, again, that's going to be last week of February. But again, next week we've got D-Styles, Invisible Scratch Pickles, Beat Junkies. And yeah, man, I'm excited about that one too.
Yeah. So look at us ending right on time. So
yeah. Appreciate everybody. Celebrate your 50 years of hip hop. Not just this year, not just this month. Celebrate the culture, the elements, respect the elements, respect the DJ, acknowledge the DJ, and let's keep this hip hop shit pushing.
Word up, man. Salute to everybody joining in, all the regulars, new people, whatever people left. Big up Sharpie. Like your fucking work. Dope. You know what I'm saying? Big up Chucky.
Yeah.
You need everybody rocking with us, Ruben, all the regulars watching. And yeah, we'll do it again. It'll be dope. Got an interview next. Be fun. So big up these styles and get this up on the YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? So salute y'all. Probably be good, right?
All right, brother. We're good. I appreciate you. Good night.
Appreciate you, family. Be good.
Peace.